Hello, welcome to my Monk family set tier list. This tier list is mostly based on PvP, as these sets are way more useful in PvP compared to PvE. But without further ado, let's go to the tier list. And we will start with the two worst sets, as they are both considered as a PvE sets. Now, with the Ravager, when you defeat an enemy, you have 12% chance that they will explode, and with Wildfire, you have 12% chance to summon a Hydra's head that will start attacking enemies. In PvP, these both are almost useless. So let's talk about the attributes inside this. In the Ravage, we have nothing to use, so just don't use anything, and that's why this is going to D tier. In Wildfire, we have the critical hit damage increased. This is really great, but you should only use one attribute from this, or maybe you could use the primary attack damage too, or all skill damage, but do not use this as a set. Just use the critical hit damage if you want to take that, and this will go to C tier because it's better than the Ravage set, but they're still both almost useless, so don't use this. Next up, we have the Jolt set. Now this will have a 12% chance that when someone attacks you, you will immobilize your attacker and do some damage. Now, as a monk, you don't really want to get attacked, so this is not that great. Maybe it's better on other class, I don't know. Let's go to the attribute lists. Damage taken from players are reduced. This is only 1%, so it's not that great. Damage taken while suffering loss of control, 4%. This could be useful, still not priority though. Cheat day chance increased. It has its uses, but there's still better ones. Duration of beneficial effects increased. Now this one is good, although in PvP it is 1/3. So it's not that great, but if you want to use other sets and you are a PvE player but you still want to have sets that has some PvP applications, but you want to get the duration for beneficial effects because of Shield of Sin, this can be used. Now the slow resistance can be used, but I wouldn't recommend it. But again, I wouldn't recommend using the Jolt set, but it's still a bit better than the Wildfire, so it's going to be tier. Now, next up, we have a Tremor set. This is starting to be one of the better ones. Your primary attacks have 2% chance to inflict some damage and stun nearby enemies for 1.5 seconds. Now the damage part is not that great, but it's still extra damage, so remember that. It's almost like two Fist of Thunders would hit them at the same time. But the stun, on the other hand, is pretty great. If you have a auto attack build, you could use this. If you have the shoulders that will give you attack speed and you are using Withus, this set could be useful on that build, or on Shimmerlim build. It could also be useful, as if you don't kill the target after your skills, you can then follow up with Fist of Thunder and proc the CC and hopefully kill them afterwards. But let's go to the attributes. Your primary attacks reduce enemy healing. Well, this is kinda useless in PvP. Your primary attacks have chance to reduce enemy attack speed and movement speed. Everything that reduces your movement speed or attack speed is pretty good inside PvP. Continual damage taken reduced. This is okay-ish, but it's not the best one. Stun resistance and knockback resistance are probably the best ones on the attributes. Now this is even better than the Jolt set, so it's definitely going to A tier. Maybe even S tier for some builds, but I will still drop this to an A tier. Next up, we have the Vengeance set. This is kinda like the Tremor set, but instead of stunning enemies and doing damage, you will increase your damage output by 100% for 1 second. So effectively, you're doing about double damage. There have been some people saying that it's not exactly 100, but it's really close, so we are saying it's double damage. And this is the set that I'm personally using. Because if you play the Shimmerin build and you jump up with Mystic Strike and you hit them afterwards with Flying Kick and then you follow up with Fist of Thunder, so you are really close to them to use the Wave of Light. If the Vengeance set was triggered, then you will do double damage with your Shimmerin Wave of Light, and this is one of the biggest reasons why some low resonance monks do so much damage. If you can trigger this before you use the Wave of Light, it will do tons of damage. Even if you are 1k resonance and you're going against 4k resonance, you have the chance, if you proc Glooms and you proc Vengeance set with everything and you have the time to just smash all the skills in while this is on, you will probably kill the 4k. But only if you have the Vengeance set up. Otherwise, there will have a lot of HP left. And with my Imprisoned Fist build, where my primary damage is my primary attack, and other are just dashes, shields, or CCs, then I'm getting 100% out of this. Every time this is up, this will increase my damage, because I'm hitting them with so many primary attacks inside the combo. I will trigger this at some point and I don't even need to think about it, but I'm gonna get double damage at some point for 1 second. And because I'm using Withus, it's going to be 1.3 seconds, but that's so small it doesn't really matter that much. But I really do feel the damage increase or the damage decrease if I don't have this set. And it's kinda huge actually, it is kinda huge. So I would say this is absolutely the best set for Monk, so it's definitely going to S tier. But let's talk about the attributes. Now the attack speed increase is really good for a Monk, but sadly it is nerfed inside the PGs, so you only get 1/3 inside the PGs of that. Damage to players increased. I've heard that it doesn't even work, I don't know. If it's 1/3 inside the beaches, it's going to still be so small, it's really hard to measure, and if it's 1/3, it's even if it works, it's bad. Now damage to demons, yeah, that's bad, don't do it. Damage to enemies suffering loss of control increased by maximum of 5%. This can net you 10% damage increase if you have loss of control skills on your set. Really good one. And damage to shield enemies increased because we have so many shields inside the beaches. This is also pretty good. Now the attributes on the Vengeance set isn't the best ones to use, but the set itself is really good, so I would highly recommend using this one. Now we still have one left, and that is the Barrier set. This is almost like the Jolt set. You have 12% chance when attacked to gain an absorption shield for 6 seconds. So basically you have a shield up almost every 12 seconds if you are fighting, and you have it up on 6 seconds. But although if you are fighting, you probably will break the shield every time, so it usually won't last for that 6 seconds. But if you wanna be a tankier Monk, this is perfectly fine set to use. If you have Frozen Heart, Barrier, and 2 pieces of Mountebanks, and you go in with Shield of Zen, you can have pretty huge shield on, so just because of that, this is definitely going to the A tier. You can be really tanky with this. Now let's talk about the attribute list. Damage to Undead, again PvE things, we don't like it, that's bad. Maximum life increase, you can have 6% maximum life with this set, so that's kinda good. Damage taken from nearby enemies, it's damage reduction, but it's not huge, and if it's reduced by 1/3 inside the beaches, then it's useless or almost useless. Now block chance, this one is interesting because in PvP you have a cap of 20% block chance, but you usually don't have a 20% block chance, so this is one of the better attributes to go for, just because, well, it's not 1/3 inside the beaches, or at least everything that I have found out says that it's not 1/3 inside the beaches. And personally, I have the block chances on my gear. It's really good. I would success doing that. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also use the warband's block chance to get that one. But that's besides the point. Let's continue. Then we have the fear resistance here. The fear resistance is also pretty good, just like stun and knock resistance. But that's about all. I tried to keep it short so you don't have to sit here too long watching this one. It's still 10-minute video, but if you survived all the way here, I must appreciate it and thank you so much for doing so. If this video were helpful, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more content from me, please do subscribe and hit that bell icon too. But before you go, I would really like to know what sets you guys are using. Thank you and hope to catch you on the next one.